Welcome to Big Blue Banter. I'm Jack Powell, joined by Mac Powell. The UK women's basketball team is about to introduce their new head coach at the Joe Kraft Center.
The school announced the hiring of Kenny Brooks from Virginia Tech Tuesday, and it's a big hire for a team that has been struggling. If you take a look at how Brooks turned around the Hokies, his program-changing ability should bring nothing but excitement to the Bluegrass. Before Brooks was hired as the head coach at Virginia Tech, the Hokies boosted just 2 winning seasons in the previous 10 years. Since then, Virginia Tech has enjoyed 8 straight winning seasons, including their first ACC championship in 2023. Brooks also took the Hokies to their first Final Four in program history, where they ended up losing to the national champs LSU. While we haven't gotten any concrete numbers on Brooks' contract with Kentucky, it is reportedly a 5-year deal that is expected to make him the 3rd highest paid coach in the SEC. Brooks will leave Virginia Tech despite signing a 3-year extension with Virginia Tech that was set to pay him around $1.1 million through the 2029 season. With his move to Lexington, there sure will be a pay raise coming his way.
While the women have some exciting things going on, the men's team just found out that longtime coach John Calipari will be returning for his 16th season after another NCAA tournament exit for a 3rd straight year. Kentucky AD Mitch Barnhart tweeted out about the veteran coach staying Tuesday night. Barnhart kept it short and sweet while saying that after he and Cal had their annual postseason talk, the universities decided to stick with their coach. Kentucky has not made the Sweet 16 since the 2019-18 season. With Coach Cal announcing his return, the next big question is who's staying and who's leaving. With that being said, we just learned a few hours ago that Adu Thiero will be entering the transfer portal. He could still be back, but it seems as if he's exploring his options elsewhere. In a perfect world, Kentucky would return Reed Sheppard, Adu Thiero, Aaron Bradshaw, and DJ Wagner. But the NBA draft and the transfer portal will make that very difficult to do. Coach Cal definitely has his hands full this offseason. But there's a lot more going on here at UK than just basketball.
Let's send it over to Eleanor, who has our Kentucky baseball update. Eleanor, what's going on?
Thanks, guys. Kentucky had a tougher game last night than people would have expected, considering who they played. The Cats eventually beat Miami of Ohio 9-5 on Tuesday night, but the score did not indicate how close this one actually was. The Cats had to come back from a 5-2 deficit and scored 6 runs in the 7th. Walks and good at-bats helped Kentucky improve its record to 21-4. The Cats had stellar eyes throughout the game as they drew 7 walks, and they were also magnets at the plate, getting hit by 5 pitches. Here's a fun stat you may never hear again. Junior outfielder Patrick Herrera had 6 at-bats and he got walked 4 times and hit twice. That is certainly a way to raise your on-base percentage. After the close game, Coach Nick Mingione had some thoughts about Herrera's unique day at the plate.
I don't know if I've been a part of a day like Pat Herrera. Like, I'm trying to think of that day, where we have 4 walks and 2 HBPs. I've been a part of a lot of walks and things like that, but give our guys a lot of credit. Just fought back. They really wanted to win. I think it'd been real easy to, just go, man, it's not our night, but we don't do that.
Coach Mingione also talked about his team's fight so far this season on coming back and winning games. The team will now head down to Oxford this weekend to take on 22nd ranked Ole Miss. The Wildcats sit at 5-1 against SEC opponents and will looking to get a series win against a top 25 team. For more baseball news, let's head back to Mac at the desk.
It's opening day in Major League Baseball in Cincinnati. It's an annual holiday. The Reds are taking on the Washington Nationals with first pitch scheduled to be thrown in just a few minutes. Last season, the Reds were 82-80 and just missed the playoffs by a few games. The Nationals, however, finished 71-91 and last in their division. The Reds start this season missing 4 key players: Nick Lodoto, TJ Friedel, Matt McClain due to injury, and Novel Marte was suspended 80 games for using PEDs. Now, let's get into the betting lines for this season. Starting off with the World Series favorite in the NL, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have plus 350s odds to win it all. In the AL, we have the Houston Astros, who are plus 750 odds. Moving on to our MVP in the National League, we have Ronald Acuna, who took home the award last year and is this year's favorite. At plus 500, that is phenomenal value, and Acuna is my personal favorite for best player in baseball. Shohei Ohtani last year won it in the AL, but since moving to the NL, he is now the 3rd favorite to win it at plus 750. In the American League, there is a new frontrunner with Aaron Judge at plus 550 odds. Judge won the award 2 years ago when he broke the AL home run record.
Even though it's opening day in Baltimore, for the Orioles. The minds of the city will not necessarily be on the game, but rather on the tragic event that happened earlier this week. On Tuesday, a cargo ship lost power and drifted into the Francis Scott Key Bridge, claiming the lives of 6 construction crew members. The governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, says he looks forward to a different kind of opening ceremony.
We're all here for an exciting new chapter. But we also know that in this moment, we are going to move in partnership because together, again, we are going to have another reopening day. And that will be the reopening of the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
According to authorities, 2 bodies have been recovered in the search for victims. Despite the Cats not playing this weekend, believe it or not, some people actually do care about what's going on in the men's tournament.
Let's send it over to Hannah Sizemore and Brody Dempsey for their Sweet 16 picks.
Thanks, guys. That's right. We're down to the final 16 teams in March, and me and Brody have made some picks.
That's right, Hannah. I know what I have tomorrow. Let's hear who you have for tomorrow night's games.
If Arizona can limit their turnovers and get to the free throw line, I think that this is an easy win for them against Clemson. I'm taking UNC, but I think that this will be a good game between them and Alabama. Although this will be Alabama's 3rd time making the Sweet 16 in the last 4 seasons, their defense would really have to step up for them to win tonight. We're going to witness a rematch of last year's national championship game between San Diego State and UConn. I'm predicting the same outcome. UConn has only lost once since Christmas, and this is almost like a home game for them, playing only 90 minutes away from campus. Although Illinois is the 3rd seed, I'm taking them over the 2 seed Iowa State. Iowa State is great defensively, but the Illinois offense excels in transition and can turn good defense into great offense.
Now looking at the Friday slate of games, the first game of the day is between number 2 seed Marquette and number 11 seed NC State. Expect Marquette to take this one, as their backcourt will be too much for the Wolfpack. Next, Purdue versus Gonzaga. I think Purdue will take this one comfortably. Look for Zach Edey to be too much for the Bulldogs to handle. For the late night games, Duke takes on Houston in the first matchup, where I expect the Cougars' backcourt to be way too much for this young Blue Devils team. And the last game I believe will be the best one of the day, as Creighton takes on Tennessee, where I expect the Volunteers to once again miss out on the Elite Eight. They didn't do so well in the second round at shooting, and that cost them the game. So I got Creighton taking this one. That's a look at my picks, Hannah. If I had to pick one of these teams to go all the way, I think it would be Purdue. What about you?
I liked your picks as well, Brody. I think I'm going to have to take Arizona all the way. Maybe this year we'll see a Wildcats Boilermakers championship. Now let's send it back to Mac and Jack.
Thank you, Hannah and Brody. Sounds like I'm putting my paycheck on Purdue -5.5. I appreciate the free money, Brody. My rent depends on you.
Sounds like a lock to me as well. That's all we got for today. Thank you for watching Big Blue Banter. See y'all next week.